Hi guys, I'm back here with another video, and I haven't been posting for a while, and I apologize for that. I have been enrolled in school for this fall semester, and I've just been really busy with school, taking over 13 units, I believe. So I've been full-time schooling, and it's been very hard for me to make videos. But I've been wanting to make this video for a while, just because I've been been intrigued to go into the podcast space for YouTube, especially. Because I find that I have a lot of ideas I want to share, and doing deck profiles has been my main form of media to share with you guys to see how each deck is able to do well in events. And I want to do more of those guys for you guys in the future, but I do want to wind down a little bit and utilize the online space for a little bit. Before I continue on, I want to shout out to this guy named Quinning. He's a very unknown person in the Tengu plant space that's been doing a lot of work on his own. I believe he doesn't even have a team on his own, and he's able to design really good websites. So if you guys are wondering the state of Tengu plant format and all the statistics, you can look here. There's stats and statistics and replays. There's a lot of cool little tools that you can use to make your Tengu experience a lot better. If you're looking for rulings, for example, because it's very obscure to find these rulings, you can actually use this website. If you look at Reborn Tengu, for example, here, it says here, if this card is returned to the deck by Phoenix Wing Windblast or Ryza, this effect will not activate. If you look at other websites, you won't be able to find it. So this is kind of the equivalent of EdisonRulings.com or EdisonFormat.com. This is basically for Tengu exclusively. If you look at here, you can look at stuff like stats and replay. You can see the win statistics of each of the decks. He goes through all of the decks that have ever won and also topped as well. So you can kind of see the wins and losses throughout all the events here. As you can see here, Agents has like the highest win rate for the amount of wins that it has. So you can look at other stuff that has like 70% win rates, but they only have like 5 wins and 3 losses. So I mean, 5 wins and 2 losses. So you kind of just don't count those. This is kind of like background noise. And so a very loved deck in Tengu plant format is always going to be Agents, and you can see that it has the highest win rate. Plant Synchro is usually the Tengu plant deck. Has only a 92-78 win loss, so it's a 54% win rate. So you can see that Agent has the most win rate. However, I wouldn't go off its statistics only to try to gauge what a good deck is in Tengu plant format, because new decks get invented as a result, and then it doesn't get tested enough. And we see that the World's qualifier, I believe the World was won by a Mist Valley Falcon Punch deck. So if you guys want to see that kind of deck in action, let's see if I can pull it up. So here's the deck that was able to win Worlds a couple of weeks ago, or even months ago. And then here's a Falcon Punch deck that was able to win throughout all of the big pushes and all the people who had the invites. So congratulations to Hime, of course, to be able to win out on the World Championship with Falcon Punch, which is not an Agent deck. So I wouldn't take Agents as like saying like it is the best deck overall, but statistically it is. If you ignore statistics and you actually want to brew something, Tengu plant format is a really good format, I would say, in my opinion, to be able to brew something, because it's very similar to Edison in a lot of sense, but it just has hand traps, and they have better counter traps. The only thing that I would say is frogs lose a lot of steam, and I actually would like it if they didn't ban Substitute for Tengu plant format, because it would be a very interesting format with frogs. Yeah, I just want to share this website because I found it to be a very useful website, and it does have ads running through it, so you can actually don't have to worry about it stalling on you for long periods of time. Another thing I wanted to cover was the Tengu Tussle. This was an event that happened on September 3rd, 2024, so a very recent event that happened that had 43 players, which is pretty impressive. Tengu Plant hasn't been very popular in the past, especially on the online space, but there is a huge it's kind of like a huge underground format that a lot of people play, by the way, but they just don't, there's not a lot of content being made around it. And so here we have in first place Moom, or if you want to call him Ichigo Kurosaki. I did a deck profile with him in person. I was able to catch him, I believe, at Nationals, and he brought his Tengu Plant deck. And yeah, I interviewed him, and I asked him some questions about why he believes Plant Synchro is the best deck. And he was actually able to win even afterwards in the big events, such as the Tengu Tussle here. So 43 players were able to win. A lot of plants in the top 8, I believe. Yeah, this is the top 8. So we have 3 plants, I believe, that was able to top, and only 1 Agent deck, which is very surprising to me, being able to only get a 3rd place finish here. But yeah, anyways, if we want to look at the statistics here, even though Agents have the best win rate across all of them, we still have Plant Synchro doing still well, even though it has a lower percent win rate by 5%. So it does matter what your skill levels are. So Moon was able to win several tournaments before this. He was able to win Tengu Mania twice, and he was able to win Tengu Tussle. So definitely skills definitely do matter, and the deck that he does decide to play is actually really matters as well. If you guys are interested in seeing the deck list, you can see it more in depth. Here we have the Fable deck that was able to play a different variation of this. And if you click on here, it's called the Axe Dragonute. And it's a 2000 monster that you can normal summon. And it basically enables that you can activate your deck devastation virus. So it was a virus deck that was able to capture the top 8 finish for Tengu Tussle. And if you scroll down here, there's a pie chart here telling you how much each dex was able to join the event. In Agents, only had 7 out of the 40. Let me see here, 7 out of 43, which is a pretty good chunk of the pie. But then we had 7 Fable Chaos and then 9 Plant Synchro here. So good representation from all parts. And then Plants being able to take 3 of the 8 spots and Agents only being able to do 1. So poor conversion rate for this particular tournament. But it did have some spicy decks as well. If you look at all of them, we have Gravekeeper, we have all these little interesting decks in the mix here, and then we can also see some of the gameplay videos as well on the replay. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Tengu Tussle. We also had an event in the Tengu Plant Discord here that was able to run an event with a $100 prize pool or $200 prize pool, where first place was able to get $100. In first place, Pro Storm, if you guys know him in other Discords, he's actually a really good player in the Edison Discord because he was able to win Worlds using fairies, and fairies being his favorite deck. In Edison format, he was able to play with the Hyperion deck, which is Agents, and he was able to win first place at the Tengu Mania 9 here. So Tengu Mania usually has a strong, I believe a strong attendance rate. I'm not entirely sure how much people joined Tengu Mania, but Agents was able to win, and I believe he was the only Agent player in this tournament. So being the only Agent player in the tournament means that usually you would have a low conversion rate, but it is piloted by a very good player, I would say, and he was able to win. His deck list not too special, but he does have the Gen X Ally Birdman along with 2 Kalahane, so he does play a little bit more heavy on the back row, and so the Kalahane allows him to float a little bit with the Card Troopers, and Card Troopers usually not seen in this format as well, but he only plays the 1 max here because he wants to search it off the Sangan, and we have the 2 Card Troopers to be able to float if someone MSTs the Kalahane, because MSTs at 3 in this format, so why not? And so he has a very good staple package, and then being able to mill your Hyperion or your Christias and being able to recall it back is kind of the idea of the deck. But I'm not going to go too much into depth with Agents. And then in second place, we have a Tengu Plant deck by Halfar. He has the I Miss Himne, Dark Signer, and Shinu's Law. So I'm not sure what that means, but maybe he's not part of the Discord anymore. I'm not entirely sure. But Halfar was able to win, get second place with the Tengu Plant deck. And that was usually the 2 classic matchup, but I think Christio was just a little bit too much for that matchup. And then we have Hero Beat in third, and then we have Scraps in fourth. If you guys want to see the scrap deck, so here's the scrap deck. Pretty standardized scrap deck, you would say, see most lists. I don't normally see the Horn of the Phantom Beast at 3 in scraps, so pretty cool little strategy here to be able to run over Thunder King Ryo and stuff like that. He does side the Gozen match to be able to control their opponent against maybe Tengu Plant, so that they can't make a trish on you and stuff like that. But I think this is for Thunder King Ryo and stuff. So I do also want to shout out this Instagram page here that does a lot of work for Tengu, and this is one of the reasons why I think Tengu is an underground format, because a lot of people play it not exclusively in the United States. It's very primarily played in the EU area. So EU constantly gets players, around 20 players at these events. 20 player plus. So it really shows you the difference between the regions that do play this format. US used to have an interest in it, and they kind of dropped it as of late for hat format, which is fine. But in the EU, Tengu Plant format is very popular. There's another Instagram page that I like using because it tells you how many players join these events. If you look at this tournament result here, we have a whopping 23 players consistently, and Hero Beat was able to win this one, and Tengu Plant was going second. And then third was Worms, so that's not something we see very often on online spaces. So usually online and IRL is always going to be a little bit different. Even Car Curries being in the 4th place spot here for a 23-player locals. They also have these pie charts, which is really nice too, to see kind of the diverse breakdown of each of the decks that was able to attend the 23-player tournament. And so we have a nice little diversity here in IRL gaming, which is what I approve of. I generally like IRL gaming because it's so much vastly different than online spaces where The barrier to entry is going to be a little bit higher IRL because you have to be there and you have to pay an entry fee to get inside. Whereas online space is there's really there's no risk with joining IRL tournaments. So who knows if IRL or online spaces produce better players? All I'm going to say is that generally you're going to see a different metagame between the two, IRL and online space. Yeah, but online and IRL, it's going to be a little bit different, which is kind of nice. And here's another tournament by the Italians that were able to play a 20-man tournament. If you go to read right here, if I highlight it here, a 20-man tournament, and Falcon Punch was able to win first place, and Tengu Plant. So no sign of any agents across all of them. So it looks like agents just doesn't do really well IRL in Italy, which is kind of befuddling to me. But yeah, if you go online, you see them win all the time. So it just goes to show that Tengu Plant, even though agents is a very dominating deck, still people can still beat it because, you know, the advancement in the innovations. And the last thing I want to say here is going back to this Tengu tool, you are able to see that this filter is pretty nice here. I was working with Quinny here to see if I can come up with some ideas to make the website a lot better. And if you look at the advanced filter, you can actually select archetypes, and that's something that other websites such as Format Library doesn't have. They don't really have these archetype menus. So he was able to instill it in an archetype menu, so you can see like tunes, for example. If you click on that and then you search, you can get a really fast pop-up of all the tune monsters that you can play in the Tengu Plant format, and it even tells you if it's unlimited, legality. I actually want to test this out because, yeah, let's just check out Black Wings. Black Wings is typically the deck that gets the most limits. So if we go to Black Whirlwind here, we can see that it's at 1 in Tengu Plant format. So you can kind of tell what the rulings are too on top of that. So if you want to know the ruling for Black Whirlwind, you can click on it, and then it takes you back to this page here where you're allowed to see the rulings from. So yeah, I mean, even tells you the little tips here too. If you guys want to know, if you order Chainlink 1 Blizzard, Chainlink 2 Whirlwind, then your opponent can only respond to the newest chain. This means oppression and pulling the rug cannot be activated this time. So it's kind of nice. And then there's common rulings too as well. Duality. A lot of people don't know how duality works with Future Fusion, but you can actually activate duality the turn you activate Future Fusion. But yeah, that's all I'll end on for the state of Tengu Plant format. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this kind of like a solo podcast series that I was able to make on my own. But yeah, if you guys like what I do for this particular video, just leave a like or just let me know in the comment section and see if I want to do more in the future. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And this was the state of Tengu Plant format, using all the websites at my disposal to gauge the state of the Tengu Plant format. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace.